So I came to Camilla's programme, I say out of a little bit of desperation, but probably across 2 o'clock in the middle of the night, Googling what I could do to help. Potty training my second son. We'd been doing it for pretty much 7-8 months. Slight okay managing on wheeze, completely not okay at managing at poos, and we haven't got any better during that 8 months. And every time I kept saying, well, we'll give it a bit more time, he needs to learn. And actually I'd got to the stage where I was becoming not the person I wanted to be. I was getting a bit aggravated. It was difficult when we were going out and about. And I thought, well, it must be him. He must have a problem. He mustn't understand. His brain connection can't be there. But I didn't know how to fix that.
And how was he? Well, how do you think he was?
Well, in hindsight, I thought he was fine and didn't care and wasn't bothered about the accidents he was having. And, you know, a beautiful conversation with Camilla, which was just like, how do you really think he feels about that? And actually, I hadn't taken time to think about that. I'd taken time to think about the fact that I'd asked him to sit on the toilet. I'd asked him for a go for a wee and a poo, and he hadn't. And then 5 minutes later had done. So I was like, not you're doing it on purpose, but I couldn't see that it was having an emotional effect on him. I could only see the emotional effect on us and family life.
Frustration.
So actually changing my mindset with your guidance and actually looking at that emotional effect on him, I now realise he's so much happier in himself. He's more relaxed, he's more enjoyable, and you think, you know, I can't believe the effect of that emotions had on him for that length of time. So really great to be able to solve that.
And what happened with the poos?
So literally from starting on your programme, I can say my husband and I changed nothing except for our approach to how we talk to him, what we explain to him, talking about talking about the anatomy, talking about the process, just normalising it a lot more. And then changing the language and the way that we spoke to him and the way we described things. We then had 2 days where he had no accidents and was really excited to show us what we were doing. And we were like, well, that's fluke, that won't last. And then it has. And 3 weeks later, literally from the start of the programme, we've not had a single accident. He's really excited. He's really happy with his progress, and he's a happier child. And an added consequence, he wasn't sleeping at all before in his own bed. He was unsettled overnight. I'd said that wasn't a problem I needed to deal with at the moment, but it appears to have fixed that as well. So it was obviously all linked in with him being uncomfortable and unhappy. So 2 for the price of 1.
Brilliant. And your other son,
Yeah, so I was to say the main reason for starting up was to be included with fixing my 3-year-old, but actually we've employed a lot of the techniques with my 8-9-year-old as well, and he's just starting to change the way he's responding to us, the language, and he's starting to suddenly show so much more sort of self-worth and being proud of himself and being pleased with himself. And that's just come about completely as a side issue, just from us changing the way that we're addressing them both, which is amazing, and I wouldn't have thought was possible.
That's great. And anything, you know, for another parent on the fence about this, about, you know, whether to invest in my program?
I think you need to do it. I think if you're at the stage where you're actually searching the internet for answers, you know in your own heart of heart you need some help. In anything, I work within healthcare. You know, my older dad said, if you've got a broken finger or think you've got a broken finger, you're probably going to see someone about it. And we're not all specialists in this area. We've inherited advice given from grandparents and friends, but actually it's not people who've trained and have the understanding. And I've listened to advice for 8 months, not got anywhere, and I've had advice for 90 minutes, and I've suddenly just changed their lives. So just do it. If you're thinking about it, you just need to just start and take that advice, because it will only enhance what's going on at home.
Thank you. It's lovely, lovely to hear that from you. And
all entirely true.